Well, the new-look Giants can make a big statement tomorrow at MetLife Stadium, a chance to go to 3-0 in the season as they welcome in the Washington Redskins. And for more on this, let's bring in Giants beat writer with the New York Daily News. Pat Leonard joins us. Pat, good to have you on, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, this is really an important week here, I feel like, for the Giants, because it's not only them going to 3-0, but a chance for them to push the Redskins to 0-3, and that would just absolutely derail the Redskins season.
Yeah, no question. There's chaos in Washington already, and look, if you don't beat Washington here, they basically can get off the mat, and that's what it is. If they're 0-3, they might not technically be totally out of the playoff race. But if you let them take this game, now you're 2-1 to their 1-2. The NFC East Titans. I know Eli Manning's reaction to a question of mine was more like it was kind of too early to talk about that, but I disagree. I mean, I know he has more experience than I do, but I disagree. I think you're really burying Kirk Cousins, its uncertainty, his turnovers, and Washington in a real hole here.
Yeah, and the only two teams you got to fight against are two teams with rookie quarterbacks, more or less. And it could actually be a swing game as well, because think about it. After this Redskins game, you're traveling to Minnesota and to Green Bay. Two very big games that could really change the trajectory of this team's season.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's interesting. The Giants are kind of heavily favored in this game for a team that's only won games by a couple points here, 4 combined. But I think the reason of that is because of their defense. I think they have a stronger team than normal. Even though Washington is the reigning division champion, I do believe the Giants deserve to be favored in this game. And as you said, Philadelphia with a rookie quarterback, 2-0, yes, but they played the Bears and the Browns. Carson Wentz looks like he's the real deal, but probably in the long term, the Giants have to feel this is their division, and they make it their division by winning this game.
Here's the other thing, too. At this point of the season, you got to say the MVP for the Giants has to be the defense. They spent $200 million this offseason. After this last game, I talked to Landon Collins about this defense. He said the one thing that really stood out was the fact that he said they respect the fact that the Giants franchise history has been built on strong defense. Now, the way they're built right now, they're not able to get pressure with their front four. However, they had 7 pass deflections this past week. They're still able to get it done, even though they're not really putting pressure on the QB.
Yeah, for sure. It is a problem. I agree with you that they have 0 sacks from their defensive line. I mean, you're paying Olivier Vernon especially and Jason Pierre-Paul to get to the quarterback and to record those sacks. You have a donut right now. The only 2 sacks from Leon Hall and Landon Collins. His first career
both in the secondary.
By the way, Collins' first career sack, not only in the NFL, in college and in high school, had never had a sack in his football career. But I will say that Damon Harrison, Snacks, and Jonathan Hankins in the middle of the D-line, I think, have been getting a good push. You saw that push also on the blocked field goal against New Orleans.
Right.
And I agree with you, though. Dallas was moving the ball very well against the Giants. The Giants just didn't break and forced a lot of field goals. But against New Orleans, you have to give them credit at least for potentially, if not arriving, at least doing it against a great quarterback. Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator, also said that he's able to dial up some more inventive packages based on the added personnel that he has.
Still, the marquee matchup of this game is Odell Beckham Jr. against Josh Norman.
Really? I hadn't heard.
Yeah, nobody's heard about this. Yeah. I was on the field for this last year. Norman, told us specifically, well, I can't exactly say what he said about Odell Beckham last year. However, this is going to be, is this going to live up to the hype? Are these two even really going to be matched up against one another? As we've seen, Norman has kind of moved all over the field in the first 2 games.
I think they will, because I know Jay Gruden, Washington's coach, tried to say exactly what McAdoo said, like both of these guys have moved on, right, and it's in the past. But I disagree. I think if you're Washington, you want this issue to come back up. You want Norman getting in Beckham's head again. The defense's job is to agitate, disrupt the offense. I think that if you have a weapon like Josh Norman, not only is he a great cover corner, but he's a guy who can disrupt the Giants' best offensive player. I don't see why you wouldn't use that to your advantage and send him around the field following Beckham. Even if Cruz and Shepard are great weapons for the Giants, I really think that you try to disrupt the entire Giants' offense by getting under Beckham's skin.
Even if they do kind of keep their cool, there is another big problem with the offensive side, and that is turnovers. Their turnover differential right now is second worst in the NFL at -2, and now you have Rashad Jennings with a thumb injury.
Yeah.
Is it a little scary to think that your lead running back, how big of a factor can Rashad Jennings really be in this offense if he's got a thumb injury and turnovers are already a problem?
I think this is a terrific point. I think it may come up to be the biggest issue of the game if he plays. I'm not saying that he's definitely going to fumble, but the fact is that they haven't been able to gain a lot of yards on the ground as is. You're pushing maybe to gain that extra yard if you're Rashad Jennings. The Giants like to control the clock like they did against New Orleans. They're going to try to do that again. They like running the ball, even though McAdoo's offense is pass heavy. I do think, however, that even though Jennings wants to play and wants to say, and he's going to, and wants to say that he can adjust or whatever, I just think we're going to see even more of Shane Vereen, more passing down packages. I wouldn't be surprised if Darko got a few more carries. He only has one so far. And I wouldn't be surprised even if Bobby Rainey, who's basically the 53rd man on the roster, wasn't even active in week 2, is active this week on special teams and maybe available to be a change of pace guy in the event Jennings has to be sidelined.
Some of the Giants are saying that they may protest in the national anthem. How big of a problem could that be for not only the Giants, but for McAdoo as well?
Yeah, I actually think this is why I'm not necessarily watching Odell Beckham and Josh Norman as much as I'm watching Ben McAdoo on Sunday for a variety of reasons. He has a lot to manage on Sunday. I mean, he's a first-year head coach. First of all, he's calling all the plays on offense. Second of all, he has to be on call to maybe pull Beckham off the field like Tom Coughlin didn't do
right
last year. That's a sensitive issue to manage. But also even more sensitive is this is a 39-year-old white first-year head coach from Western Pennsylvania. His father worked in the coal mines. And this week he has Rashad Jennings, some of the Giants players, walking into his office saying that they want to do something to demonstrate a protest to racial injustice and oppression. This is a defining moment for Ben McAdoo as a Giants coach, and coming very early here. Maybe not for the public, but definitely for the players and how he handles it, how he compromises with them. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't do anything outwardly on Sunday, because Rashad Jennings said they will stand for the anthem, and I believe that's per McAdoo's request. He has respect for the military. He feels like that's disrespectful, and the players feel that way too. Jennings said he stands for the military, but I think that there's a compromise happening between them. McAdoo actually said that he would prefer something happens away from the facility. So that's why I feel like there might not even be anything happening on Sunday. Maybe it's an event away from game day, away from a practice day, where he and the players can demonstrate a sign of unity, but not have it coincide with the national anthem on game day.
Well, we will find out. The Giants and Redskins play on Sunday. New York Daily News Giants beat writer Pat Leonard, thank you so much, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Steve.
All right, stick around. We're talking daily fantasy, and when we come back, our expert is going to give you his top value picks next.